Today I wanted to make steak sandwiches, but I didn't want to use regular bread. So I'm going to show you how I made these 2-ingredient bagels. Now, I added extra ingredients because I like everything bagels, but the dough is so simple to make, and it's a great way to add extra protein to your sandwich. Let me show you how I made this. So I'm working with thin cut steak meat, some yakitori marinade or sauce, and just a garlic herb seasoning. I'm not measuring it. I'm just going to add my 2 thin slices of steak into a freezer bag. If you are going to be inspired to make a steak sandwich, use the meat that you prefer, the cut of steak meat, and season how you like. Okay, so I'm going to add this yakitori sauce, and I just kind of, again, maybe like a cup went in there. I'm going to close this up and just let it marinate until I'm ready to use it. So I have been seeing so many videos utilizing that trending recipe of equal parts self-rising flour and Greek yogurt. But today I am going to be using cottage cheese. So here I'm starting with like a cup and a half of self-rising flour, because the amount that I'm using for cottage cheese in place of the Greek yogurt is a little bit more than a cup. So I'm just going to add a little extra flour, but the ratio that you want to follow is 1 cup self-rising flour, 1 cup Greek yogurt. Here I have my cottage cheese. You probably could put this into a blender cup to make it smooth, but I'm just going to dump it right into the self-rising flour. I just had thawed steak meat, and I'm going to make enough for 3 bagel sandwiches. Okay, so before I start mixing, I'm going to preheat my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I suggest you do the same. And now just give this a mix. And I have seen videos where people oil their hands before kneading and working with the dough. I'm not. I'm just going to make a big old mess. So this is pretty much combined. I think I can go in with my hands, and you'll want to sort of just fold and combine everything together until it comes out into a dough ball. But as you can tell, it's starting to get sticky. And I have seen videos where people add cooking oil on their hands, like I said, or maybe add extra flour just to make it workable. But this is what I'm working with. So I'm really not kneading it as much as I'm folding it. It makes it a lot easier with the sticky dough. Okay, and to divide it, I'm just going to divide it into 3 bagels, but look how sticky this is. I'm going to take a portion of this. I've seen people where they roll the dough into a log and then they connect each log to shape a bagel. But, you know, I'm just going to sort of squeeze off some of this dough in my hand that's so sticky and just kind of put it into a ball, and then in the center create a hole, and that's it. That's your 2-ingredient bagel. But because I want everything bagel, I'm going to add 2 extra ingredients. So you place your bagels onto a baking sheet lined with parchment paper, and to add the topping of the everything bagel seasoning, I'm going to create an egg wash. I also want to mention that typically in the video for these 2-ingredient bagels, people like to divide the dough into 4 bagels, and they do end up being smaller, but because I'm making sandwiches today, I divided the dough into 3 so they can be larger, which are the perfect size for these sandwiches that I'm making. So I'm going to brush the egg wash. And here's something that I realized after the fact. You want to just gently egg wash the top. If you do the sides, it sort of stops the bagel from fluffing and rising. So there's just something to think about. I made the mistake of going way too far with the egg wash. And so after coating the top with the egg wash, I'm going to sprinkle everything but the bagel sesame seasoning blend. These are my favorite type of bagels, whether I'm making them at home or whether I'm picking up from a bagel shop. Okay, so just coat the top. And then once that's coated, it's going right into my preheated oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit until they are cooked through. It's going to take like 20 to 30 minutes. It depends. So while the bagels are baking, I am going to start cooking this marinated steak. There's nothing special that I'm doing with this steak. It's thin cut, so I want to make sure it's cooked all the way through. This is not a medium rare or medium steak that I'm cooking. We like the steak to be well. And preheated pan, a little cooking oil, and I'm just going to cook it and sear it on both sides. And I'm going to add a little extra flavor here with this buttery steakhouse seasoning and just kind of shake that on top. And this is an easy dinner idea. Steak sandwiches on 2-ingredient bagels. Give that a flip. It smells great. And once that's done, I'm going to let it rest and just slice it up for the sandwiches. So my bagels have been baking for about 25 minutes and they look done. So I'm going to remove them from the oven and they smell amazing. And I want to mention something. I know these are not a true, authentic, chewy, textured bagel, but it does come in clutch when you are looking for a quick fix and something with extra protein. I think these look amazing and I'm going to show you. These are still kind of hot. I'm just going to use my sharp kitchen shears to cut this open, but letting it set for about 15 minutes before slicing into it helps. But look at this. It is so fluffy and tender. I'm just adding some Kewpie mayo. Like I said, this dinner is going to be easy. Some cracked black pepper. I also like making these bagels when I make a tuna melt. It works so well with that. So I'm going to add some sliced tomato, some lettuce. I'm going to pile it with some of the steak slices, which came out really tender and good. And this is the easy dinner that I made today. Extra protein, fresh, and delicious. It's so good and so easy to make. I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.